So here's my string alignment setup here. You get a string. I've got a somewhat heavy plumb bob on the end of that one. And you set it over one jack stand on one corner of the car in the front. Then you run your string all the way back to the back tire. And ideally you'd get the string as close to the middle point as possible. Just hook it on one of the treads like that. And you go around, same thing over here, all the way to the front. And then you basically slowly move your jack stand inboard until it touches either the front or the rear of the tire, and that tells you what your toe is. So I've got it barely touching the rear of the tire, and you can clearly see a pretty extreme toe in here. It is, we're 9/16 on the right side, and then 5/8 plus over here. So I need to adjust this toe. Okay, so basically to align this is pretty simple. I gotta loosen this bolt and that one over there, and then this thing has opposite threads on either side of it, so when you turn it one direction it either spreads this out or it pulls it in. So the problem with it is that it's a lot harder now for me to reach my hands in there with this thing being as low as it is. And it's not like I can take the road wheel off. That's kind of the whole point of this, is to measure the tire against this string here. So I'm going to try to set you up in there somewhere and show this, but it's going to be difficult. Oh God, really? Probably didn't have to loosen them up that much, but God, I can't really tell if you can see that or not. I hope you can. We'll just have to see. And then this is a 19 millimeter, and so let me see what happens when I screw it this direction. Can't tell. You probably can, but I can't. So after all that, we've pulled it away from the string in the back. And I don't know what it's done up here, but I think that's going the right direction. Because otherwise it would have just kept pushing out on this string if we were continuing to push that side out. So let me get you set up out here and take it the rest of the way. I mean, we're at 3/16 and I want to be at an 1/8, so we're real close. Yep, that's it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to roll this thing back a couple feet, forward a couple feet, and then back to this position, and then we'll just double check it. Okay, we've got the other side to an 1/8 toe in. Let's loosen our strings and then roll this thing forward and back and then back to this same spot. Oh, okay, interesting. Well, I guess I overshot it dramatically. Let's see what this side looks like. This side was an 1/8 and now it's 5/16. But let me crank on this one back the opposite direction. I think when I was doing this, I thought maybe I had to help it along because there's obviously some friction twisting on the bottom of this as you're doing this. I guess that's why you got to roll it and check it and roll it and check it. So I'll crank that back. Pretty much parallel now. So let's keep going a little bit more. I think a little teeny bit more, unless it's not touching. No, it's touching the back. All right, little bit more. That's it, 1/8. So right now it's 1/8 on both sides. So once again, let's test it. The wheel's pointing to the right. What the heck? All right, what the for some reason when I turn on this thing it turns the steering wheel, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to stop the steering wheel from turning, because like that's almost a freaking inch. What in the hell? All right, okay, after a lot of trial and error, what I found is when I do a big adjustment on this, it's not just pushing the wheel, it's also pushing the rack in. And so I'd go in there and the steering wheel would be, you know, turned way to the left or something. I mean, not way to the left, but it wouldn't be aimed straight anymore. So what I found myself doing is making an adjustment and then pulling the string down to the floor, rolling the car back and forth a couple feet, making sure the steering wheel is pointed straight, and then checking it again, and just over and over and over again. And I finally got this to, your perspective might not be the same as mine here, but 1/8 of an inch here, and an 1/8 of an inch. I'll line it up there, so 1/8 of an inch there. So that's how to do a rough string alignment to get yourself close, just to get you to an alignment shop. And the way it was before, towed way in like that, boy, it was real darty. And the steering wheel, it was actually pointed to the pretty straight most of the time, but it had a lot of torque steer. I could tell something was wrong, so I'm glad I put the strings on it just to see where it was. So I'm going to call the alignment shop early next week, and after that I'll show you the results of how close I got and what it was afterwards. So, and of course, don't forget to tighten those 2 lock bolts after you get the adjustments made. Couldn't really get you in there to do it, but don't forget that.